During the news cycle for the New Mexico murders, TV stations either featured or mentioned CAIR 20 times in 4 days. When CAIR reps appeared in person on a broadcast, they bloviated by launching an army of phrases over the landscape, carefully avoiding any actual ideas.
The search for answers continues tonight after the brutal killings of these 4 men you see on your screen. All 4 men Muslim and all gunned down in Albuquerque.
The first killing happened back in November, but the last 3 are all from the past 2 weeks.
Mohammed Ahmadi, Mohammed Afzal Hussein, Aftab Hussein, and Naeem Hussein all shot, police say, in ambush attacks at night.
The Albuquerque police chief said all the killings have been described as ambush-style shootings. No suspect information has been released. They have not said if the crimes are hate crimes.
Our community has been devastated, as you can imagine. We've never gone through anything like this before. This is really a surreal time for us. We're in fear of the safety of our children, our families.
The Albuquerque Journal identified the latest victim as Naeem Hussein. Islamic leaders say Hussein was killed shortly after he attended the funeral services for the 2 other victims, Afzal Hussein and Aftab Hussein. 9 months ago, another Muslim man, Mohammed Ahmadi, was murdered.
We're very concerned that these are obviously tied together. They're obviously targeting Muslim men, and they're happening right here in our own refugee community, historically, which has been a very safe and welcoming and inclusive place for decades.
This was a tragic and mysterious story.
Medical investigators said, "Gentlemen, you will not be able to read the autopsy report. It's such a horrible thing. We couldn't put his head together."
Who is doing the murders? Everyone was hungry for answers, but when CAIR got on TV, they didn't have any. They revealed no information.
We don't know why this is happening. We have no idea who's doing it, what the motive is.
No knowledge.
Because somebody out there knows something.
No contacts.
Have you received any tips that have helped in any way track down the perpetrator?
Well, the only tip that we know and the police has shared with people last night was about a car of interest. And we have ourselves broadcast that image along with the entire U.S. media.
No perspectives.
Ibrahim, let me start with you. Providing meal deliveries, grocery deliveries for people who are afraid to leave their home. Help us understand the intensity of the fear, the concern in central New Mexico after these killings.
Well, when you have an apparent serial killer targeting a minority community, obviously that's going to generate a lot of fear. And when people feel that it might be in danger going about their daily lives, as these individuals who were killed were going about their daily lives, I mean, it's something that they need to think about.
Nothing. What is the point of having them on TV if they are irrelevant? Let's take another look at CAIR's CNN interview.
Because somebody out there knows something. And with the reward, $10,000 reward we're offering, other people are offering rewards. I was just on a call. A community in Washington State raised money to send for a reward. A former police official in New Mexico called me and said he's sending a check for to add to the reward. So it's a nationwide effort, I think.
So this is money given to CAIR for the purpose of the reward. But otherwise, it's money CAIR can use as they see fit. Was CAIR using this tragedy to fundraise? Remember, CAIR came out of a group that was broken up for misusing charitable funds. Recently, a former CAIR board member accused the organization in court of misuse of grant funds. And this is not the first time they have exploited other people's misfortunes either.
In vain, the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, released a statement in response to today's deadly mass shooting.
The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, released a statement.
The local chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations issued a statement.
CAIR is the nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy organization.
This is what we've been fighting against since George Floyd was killed. Running away from accountability and transparency.
Killed George Floyd.
This is shame.
Minnesota killed George Floyd. The state that killed George Floyd does not want and is not interested in black lives.
The peaceful taken over this nation since the killing of George Floyd are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere.
Nafia Ikram is focused on recovering from severe burns, but plagued by the unknown. Who did this?
I was just living my life. I was minding my business, so like what could have provoked someone to do this to me? What could have gotten them so angry? I don't know.
That has to raise a specter, an inference, and an investigation has to be conducted.
But the family is not convinced.
The reason I think is not hate crime, why they did not throw on my wife.
If this was a hate crime, we're both the same like religion and same culture. Why didn't the person throw the acid on both of us?
A family's outrage over what they say happened to their daughter in school. A teacher in New Jersey accused of pulling off the hijab off the head of a 7-year-old Muslim girl.
Growing outrage on social media after Olympic athlete Ibtihaj Mohammed shared Sumayya's allegation on her Facebook page. But an attorney who says he represents the teacher told New Jersey Advanced Media the allegations posted by the Olympic fencer are 100% untrue. The South Orange Maplewood School District, however, says it has launched its own investigation. The New Jersey chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, comparing the alleged incident to harassment and assault.
Anyone that thinks it's okay to do this to a student clearly is not fit to be a teacher.
CAIR will seemingly use any excuse to get on TV, but the death of a Muslim, and especially 4 related murders of Muslims, will give CAIR the reason to get on TV and dictate terms to law enforcement 1,000 miles away from the murder scene. It was in Houston, Texas, that CAIR's William White told us that Muslims are looking to him for guidance.
I was at the mosque yesterday and a lot of people are expressing a lot of fear. To me, a lot of people are, curious as to if this can come over here, if there's a likelihood that it can happen to them or someone they know.
Now law enforcement in Houston had to become proactive.
CAIR is asking other agencies to follow suit.
The Houston chapter of CAIR, the nation's largest Muslim civil rights organization, asking those in the community to stay vigilant.
The latest killings happening last week and this weekend. On Friday, there was a man killed after attending the funeral of one of the other men that was shot. They can't say quite yet that it's connected, but for us, the fact that 4 Muslim men, all of South Asian descent, all in the same city, have been killed, I think that's a really clear sign that this is a pretty targeted attack.
Williams says the men were shot in the head, the concern reverberating all over. Local leaders in Houston now speaking out and ramping up security.
The alarming developments prompting Houston city leaders to respond. Mayor Sylvester Turner and Chief Troy Finner announcing on Twitter they would be beefing up patrol around local mosques and meeting with community leaders later this week. William White with the Council on American Islamic Relations says they are stepping in too to help bring closure to the victims' families in New Mexico. They're offering a $15,000 reward to anyone with information leading to the arrest of whoever is responsible for these murders.
I think that Texas and New Mexico have a very close relationship. While Houston is pretty far from New Mexico, I think that there are a lot of people that may go back and forth, may go there for vacation, they may have friends there.
White listed the law enforcement agencies that he wanted to come to heal.
We're also hoping that Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office, Harris County Constable's Office, Harris County Sheriff's Office will do the same. No one's going to stop us from being in this country. No one's going to stop us from worshiping in this country.
Now, the national chapter of CAIR is now offering an increased reward of $10,000 for information leading to an arrest. Reporting live, Tiffany Justice, Fox 26 News.
Now to this, the Houston chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations calling on the Houston area Muslims to stay vigilant after another Muslim man was murdered in New Mexico. Now, FBI officials believe a serial killer may actually be targeting Muslim men. And in a statement, CAIR Houston chapter director William White urged all community members to remain vigilant and to stay in groups whenever possible. He also says that they really hope that other law enforcement agencies around the state and around the country will increase patrols around area mosques in the assurance of safety for the Muslim community. And he even offered condolences to the family of those who were killed in Albuquerque.
William White ground his axe and told us it was a sign that Islamophobia has finally turned deadly.
I think that the anti-Muslim bigotry we've witnessed over the last 20 years has directly played into this hand of now people are dying.
News of the New Mexico murders reached as far as Bridgeview, Illinois, where the Bridgeview Mosque was getting into the act.
CAIR's national organization has posted a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for these killings. At the Mosque Foundation in Bridgeview, security measures are already in place, but now heightened even more. The Mosque Foundation's president, Osama Jamal, and Sadia Pervez from the Council on American Islamic Relations in Chicago are encouraging the community to be vigilant, but not to live in fear.
Vigilance. Vigilance is number one. We have to be careful, no doubt about it. It is not just the adult people. We have children. We have kids. It is not just the adult people. We have children. We have kids. We have kids.
During Friday prayers, 50 Muslims at 2 separate mosques were shot dead. Another 50 injured.
This act of terrorism in New Zealand prompting high security at mosques around the world. At the Mosque Foundation in Bridgeview, patrol cars can be seen keeping an eye on the area. And this morning, a regular security detail stood guard as the news weighed heavily on those attending morning prayer. The Council on American Islamic Relations in Chicago issued a community alert overnight, saying the community should not panic and mosque leaders should encourage calmness along with caution.
We don't expect anything to happen. We don't have any intelligence that anything is being planned to happen, God forbid. But just in the way of caution, we're asking mosques to contact their police departments and ask for extra security detail and to keep an extra eye of vigilance. And to report anything suspicious that they see and to have some volunteers at the doors.
There are about 175 mosques in the Chicago area. And while the heavy security isn't what they want,
You better be safe than sorry, absolutely.
The Mosque Foundation in Bridgeview. More police and private security.
We have the whole team here as opposed to normally on a Friday, a couple of people maybe. And we will be keeping up that security.
That increased security at mosques expected to continue through the weekend, though Chicago and suburban police say they're unaware of any credible threats.
The Mosque Foundation here is on high alert, and take a look. Right now, security is here. But later on today, they plan to have police around the building as well to watch over the afternoon prayers. And CPD has directed all districts to pay special attention to mosques, even though there is no known threat. Back here live on Fridays, this is a day of assembly for Muslims, the afternoon prayer meant for congregational prayer, and today it will be done under very close watch.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to make a few brief comments about the attacks across Paris tonight.
This was the first thing that went to the door.
Exactly.
And it's pretty obvious what happened.
Yeah, as soon as we opened the door.
We interrupt this YouTube video to bring you an important olds alert from 2015.
Mosques, Islamic schools, and Muslim organizations are on alert in the Chicago area today. There were threats on social media. The threats specifically mentioned the mosque in suburban Bridgeview. Eyewitness News reporter Tanya Babich has more.
The threats were posted to a conversation on a Facebook page, and the person who initiated it made those comments from a location less than 2.5 miles away. He threatened to put Chicago area Muslims, quote, in check, and wrote, "I'd like to start with that mosque down the street." Local and federal authorities launched an investigation right away, and mosque leaders held a meeting last night to talk about measures that could be taken to protect the campus. It comprises the mosque, a community center, a youth center, and 3 schools.
What's happened in France is against our religion and against our Islamic teaching.
Obviously, this would be the first time to see something that is serious in its nature to be directed at the community here. But we are confident that nothing will happen, and we pray for this.
Osama Jamal is the vice president of the Mosque Foundation and showed me a screenshot of the threats, which have since been taken down from Facebook. He says mosque leaders are cooperating with federal authorities. The FBI isn't commenting on its investigation and no arrests have been made. In Bridgeview, Tanya Babich, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
The Muslim community in Albuquerque, New Mexico is on high alert after the murder of a Muslim man Friday night. It's the latest in a string of murders of Muslims that authorities say may be linked. Just last week, 2 other Muslim men were shot to death.
We're very concerned that these are obviously tied together. They're obviously targeting Muslim men.
Local authorities are also asking the public to help.
We have photos of a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat, which you will get a copy of this flyer. A dark-colored 4-door sedan, Volkswagen, Passat, or Jetta, we encourage you to call the police with that information.
But there was some movement in this case just over the weekend.
CAIR, a civil rights group for American Muslims, and the president of the Islamic Center of New Mexico have said investigators told them Syed is a Sunni Muslim and this could be sectarian violence directed towards Shiites. The New York Times also reported that Syed was angry his daughter married a Shiite.
CAIR, a civil rights group for American Muslims, and the president of the Islamic Center of New Mexico have said investigators told them that Syed is a Sunni Muslim and this could be sectarian violence directed toward Shiites.
And after all of that, all the rehearsed hysteria, the making law enforcement jump through hoops, and all of the promoting their brand on TV, we get lip service.
In our faith, the taking of an innocent life is equivalent to the taking of the life of the entire humanity. And that's what this perpetrator did.
We're very troubled by the suspected motive in this, that he was a Sunni Muslim targeting Shia Muslims.
No, they're not. There will be no meetings, workshops, press releases, flyers, media appearances.
You know what the word for that is? Racism.
Islamophobia, bigotry, kills, is deadly.
I think that the anti-Muslim bigotry we've witnessed over the last 20 years has directly played into this hand of now people are dying.
No reports, no apologies, no indication that they have learned anything except they can exploit the misfortunes of Muslims on TV again and again. This was Sunni Muslim Islamophobia directed against Shiite Muslims, one of the several Muslim blood feuds that CAIR will make no effort to stop from coming to America. There will never again be any public discussion of this incident by the Council on American Islamic Relations.
We're very troubled by the suspected motive in this, that he was a Sunni Muslim targeting Shia Muslims.